mighty fine bunch of horse flesh, Captain.
Yeah, Gus, the Army's mighty particular what they buy. Well, I guess we better start cutting them in with the others. Take that bay and that sorrel to make up the 6.
Well, what about that buckskin?
No, too heavy. They've got to be between 15-1 and 16 hands high. Not less than 915 or more than 1,150 pounds and between 4 and 6 years old.
Army regulation 1142.
Tim! Tim O'Gara.
Captain McLaughlin. Oh, you're a sight to behold.
Well, it's good to see you too, Tim. And Brian Boru, the old campaigner. What brings you to our neck of the woods, Tim?
I'm finally getting out of the Army. I'm on my way to Fort McQuestion for my separation. So I says to Brian, says I, why don't we drop in and visit with me old CO and his family?
I'm glad you did, Tim. Gus, would you take care of Tim's horse? And when Ken comes home, tell him to come in the house.
Sure thing, Captain.
Come on, Tim. So you're finally getting mustered out, Tim.
That I am. This is a good thing, too. That's to be another 5 years before I'd set me eyes on you again.
Sergeant O'Gara!
Is the lad now? Oh. And a fine, handsome young fella he is, too. I'm thinking he gets his looks from his mother.
You're right, Tim. I'll only take credit for his brains.
He's grown a lot since last I saw him. You were no bigger than a peanut then. You'll be ready for the cavalry soon. Would you like that?
You bet, if I could ride Flicka.
Flicka?
That's my horse. She's real smart and brave, too. Just like Brian Boru.
So you've told him about Brian. That's fine.
Are you going to stay a while and tell me some more about him? About the time he charged through the screaming Comanches and both of you full of arrows?
Well, no, that's a long story, lad. And I'm afraid I won't be having the time. You see, I have me orders to be reporting back to Fort McQuestion.
Fort McQuestion? That's where Dad and I are going tomorrow, to deliver some horses. Couldn't you stay and ride with us?
No, Ken, an order's an order. Tim has to report back tonight.
I'd better be leaving right now before some young shave-tail has me listed AWOL.
What are your plans now that you're getting out, Tim?
Well, now, I'll have my pension. The main thing is a field of clover for Brian Boru to end his glorious days in.
Say, Dad, why couldn't Sergeant O'Gara and Brian come and live with us?
Oh, sure, and I thank you, lad. And I'll accept the offer on behalf of Brian. But as for myself, I can only stay for a day or two.
That'll be just great, Sergeant O'Gara.
Tim it was to your father, and Tim it'll be to you.
Yes, sir. Tim?
What do you mean, just a few days?
Well, ma'am, it has been many a long year since I've set eyes on the old sod Ireland and the girl I left behind.
The girl you left behind? How many years has that been?
Oh, it will be 35 years come next St. Patrick's Day.
35 years? Do you think she's still waiting?
By the saints, she darn well better be. Now, Brian, me boy, you'd best be making the most of your time with your old friends. I'm going over to headquarters for me papers. Then a bit of celebration in town tonight. And tomorrow, we'll be out of the Army for good.
Good to see you, Sergeant.
Thank you, sir. Brian and me reporting in.
Here they are, Stout. 6 horses. That black one there was just brought in by the sergeant. He is a great horse.
None of them are a bargain at any price. That's why you get no other bids.
They all serve their country well.
What they were doesn't interest me. I'm only interested in what they're going to be.
You want to take them now?
No, I'll have to pick them up for shipment tomorrow. Every day I'm here costs me money.
Yeah? That's too bad.
1, 2. You don't have to study it. Just send it. I know my business. Just tend to your own. I've been station master here at Cooley Springs since the railroad came in. Now I gotta start counting all over again.
Around her neck she wore a yellow ribbon. She wore it in the winter and the summer, so they say. And if you ask her why... Pardon me, gentlemen. Is this the place to send a wireless to Ireland?
Now, wait a minute. I want to write that different. Say, just bought 6 more cavalry nags at McQuiston at $5 a head. We'll ship with others from Cooley Springs Thursday.
Cavalry nags, is it now? That's a fine way to talk about glorious horseflesh.
Glorious horseflesh. You soldier boys give me a pain.
Oh, we do we? And what, may I ask, have you got against the military?
But you're all a little soft in the head. Just like that quartermaster full of dripping tears over a lot of worthless critters who are only good enough for the glue factory.
Glue factory? I'd mind me tongue if I were you, mister.
You almost bust out crying over your old black nag.
Brian Boru? What's this you're saying about Brian Boru?
I'm saying he's got to be a pot of glue.
Here's the price of your lie, you black soulless knave. You can't fly in here. Sheriff!
Nice bunch of horses, Captain. You'll get a check in about 30 days. Through channels.
Channels means 90 days.
You know your army.
I ought to. I learned it right here under your CO, Colonel Percival.
I know what you mean. Too bad he's out on maneuvers.
I'll catch him next time. Convey my respects.
I will.
Hey, kid, get that horse out of the way. I can't get my stock through.
I'm sorry, mister. Come on, Flicka. Dad, look, it's Brian Boru. Where's he taking him?
You people trying to hold me up all day? Come on, you old bag of bones.
That's no way to handle cavalry horses if you want them to obey you.
Don't try to tell me how to handle my horses.
Your horses?
Yes, he bought them for shipment to Salt Lake. They were condemned as unserviceable. Army regulations.
What's he gonna do with them, Dad?
Does Tim O'Gara know about this?
He ought to. He landed in Cooley Springs jail on account of it. Come on, you.
But you gotta do something, Dad. They can't take Tim's horse. It'll just kill him.
You better get into town and see Tim.
Captain McLaughlin. Oh, am I ever glad to see you. Sure, and you've come just in the nick of time.
I hope so. We just left the fort. Brian Boru's been sold.
Oh, well, I know it. That's why I'm here. They can't do that.
He was Army property, and he was condemned.
That's just it. He wasn't Army property. He was mine. I owned him.
Now, Tim, just because he was assigned to you doesn't mean that...
Do you take me for daft? I bought him from Colonel Percival himself before I was shipped to Manila.
Can you prove that?
Sure I can. I have a bill of sale from the Colonel. It must be right in my kit bag at the fort.
Then you'd better get out of here and tell Lieutenant Dixon about it. Maybe he can stop the sale. How much is his fine, Sheriff Downey?
$5 and costs. It'll be $15.
You better get going, Tim.
That I'll do as soon as I finds me a horse.
If you want to, you can ride Flicka. She'll get you there in a hurry.
With this kindly act, you've bound our friendship forever. May the saints bless you, my boy.
Tim's gonna ride you for a little while, Flicka. Behave.
Thank you, my boy.
I sure hope you find that bill of sale.
Is that it, Tim?
My laundry ticket in Chinese.
Well, I don't see what I can do unless you find it.
Must be in my footlocker. That won't get here for 2 weeks from Manila.
Sorry, Tim.
Then I'll go to Colonel Percival himself. I'll get me another bill of sale.
No, I don't know when he'll be back. He's out on field maneuvers.
Brian Boru belongs to me like a babe to its mother. Whoever tries to keep us apart, I'll find, and he'll be destroyed surely.
Well, Harry's horses ought to be here in a couple of days. Then we'll have a full carload to ship out.
Sure, and you didn't think I'd be leaving you for long here, did you, my boy?
What are you doing here? Trying to steal him?
No, I came to offer you a fair price for me horse when my pension check gets here.
I wouldn't sell him to you for $1,000. I'll beat it.
Beat it, is it? Not without me horse. Quick! More ammunition. I've run out. Keep your head down.
Here, Sergeant. They'll make everyone count. We haven't many left.
Aye, sir. Them red devils has got us surrounded.
And outnumbered.
We're doomed. There's only one way of escape now. Just one hope. Our trusty horses. Even now, they must be quivering with the excitement of battle, ready to lay down their lives for their masters.
They sure look excited.
Brian Boru! Come, lad!
Here, Flicka! On the double! Hey, wait for me! The battle isn't over yet! Indians, cavalry, men, bang, bang, bang!
This is getting monotonous, O'Gara. Been hunting you for 3 days. Got a warrant for your arrest. Stout here swore it out.
However did you find me? The man has just shaken 1,000 redskins off his trail.
I thought you had this all straightened out, Tim.
I tried to buy Brian from the blackguard, but he threw me a haymaker for my trouble. Well, naturally,
What happened to your bill of sale from the colonel?
somewhere on the high seas in me footlocker.
Mr. Stout, I have some money in my bank. Will you sell Brian Boru to me?
He ain't for sale. He's going to the glue factory with the other nags.
No, it isn't right. Brian Boru is a great war hero. Just like Tim and all the rest of those cavalry men. Somebody ought to understand what they did for their country.
I understand, Kenny, but it's out of my hands.
Come on, Sheriff. Let's get this over with.
Sheriff, can I have just one last word with me horse?
Now, wait a minute. I can't just stand around here waiting for somebody to...
Go ahead, O'Gara.
We've faced a lot together, you and me. But this is the hardest. You've always been a grand, brave horse, equal to any task, never knowing the smell of fear. Whatever you have to face now, do it bravely. With your proud head held high, as I've always taught you. Then someday...
There must be something you can do.
I wish I knew what.
Hello, Colonel Percival.
Hello, Rob. It's good to see you.
I didn't think you'd ever get here.
Why, what's the trouble?
Well, it's about Tim O'Gara and Brian Boru.
Those two again?
Yes, it seems that Tim got into what he considers a slight argument.
Jail?
Yes. While you were on maneuvers, Brian Boru was sold to a man named Stout. Tim objected.
He's right. I sold him Brian Boru for $1 and an Irish blessing.
Brian's in Cooley Springs right now with the other cavalry horses waiting to be shipped to a glue factory.
Glue factory?
Hey, stop! You can't do that!
What do you mean I can't do that? I'm doing it, ain't I?
Come on, Flicka, we're gonna see the greatest! Mr. Slocum!
What's the trouble, Kenny?
They can't take Tim's horse away. You've got to hold up that train.
I can't do that. Train's got to go out as soon as those horses are loaded.
But that's why my father's at Fort McChristian. To get a bill of sale so they can't ship Tim's horse. Please, Mr. Slocum.
All right, you black devil, behave yourself.
Colonel Percival.
How do you do, sir? She rescued Brian and all the other horses, just as the train was ready to leave.
Good old Brian. You brought them back home. That's great. I'll tell you this, Rob. They didn't come back in vain. I'll personally reimburse the man who bought them, and from now on, as long as I'm in command, our horses will live out their days in peace.
Dad, look.
It was won in honor and worn with pride. So, my boy, I gives it to you and Flicka for services rendered beyond the call of duty. At ease.
You really mean I can keep it?
Tis an honor for me that you'll be wearing it. Besides, what would I want it for in Ireland?
I'll never disgrace it, Tim.
Ah, Faith, and I know you couldn't, being Nell and Rob's son. Well, I'd better be hurrying if I'm to get to Cooley Springs and catch the train.
Flick and I are going with you. We're going to bring Brian home. And don't you worry. We'll take good care of him.
My mind is easy, my little bucko.
Look what Tim gave me. It's metal.
He got that for saving my life.
And he got it for saving Brian's life.
Bless you, Tim.
Well, no. How do I look in my civvies? Ain't it befitting?
You look real nice, Tim. Like a city slicker.
City slicker? By the halls of Tara. No, it isn't. It can't be.
What?
Him. By the saints, it ain't me. Well, that does it.
What's gotten into you, Tim?
It's not what's gotten into me, it's what I'm getting out of. This. I'm going to join up for another 5-year hitch to get my uniform back.
What about the girl you left behind you in Ireland?
Oh, that. Well, she's been waiting 35 years. Another 5 years of waiting won't be hurting her. Around her neck, she wears a yellow ribbon. She wore it in the winter and the summer, so they say. And if you ask her why she wore the ribbon, she wore it for a love of